Hi everyone, my name is Don Heminitz, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about fife and drum. A friend and colleague of mine put together a video on drumming, so I'm going to put together one on fifing. So as you can see, the fife is very much like a flute. It's a little shorter, it's a little higher pitch, which means it sounds a little higher and louder. You'll hear that in a moment. And it's made of wood. It's got metal tips to help protect it. We call these ferrules. And notice it doesn't have any keys. So like a flute has keys. This only has 6 finger holes and one to blow into up top here. But this is what it sounds like. This is a slightly modern fife, but let me tell you or show you what a Savoy fife looked like. And so here's one. It looks pretty much the same. It does sound a little bit different. This was made by a company right in Boston, but here it sounds. So you can see it here. It does sound a little bit different. Here's another fife for you. Now, this was made just a little bit after the Civil War, but it still represents fifes very much of the period. It's even shorter still. You probably can't tell, but it's even shorter and higher pitched, so it sounds very high and very loud. All right, that's pretty neat, huh? So the whole purpose of these, the reason they're so high and loud is so that they are heard. So they're heard over the battlefield, so people can hear them when they're trying to sleep. And so actually an example I'll play for you in a moment is called the reveille, which is the call to wake up. One thing I want to show you really quick is this idea of a mouthpiece. So this is what it looks like, right? This is a Civil War mouthpiece. For those fifers who couldn't make a sound right away, some instrument manufacturers put together these mouthpieces. So the problem was the Army wanted to get musicians out onto the field as quickly as possible. If you've ever tried to play a flute or a fife, it takes a while to get that sound, and the Army did not want to spend the time to train these people. They wanted to get them going as quickly as possible. So these mouthpieces are played just like a recorder, if you've ever played a recorder. And so it really gets that sound nice and quick. The difference is you're playing this way instead of lengthwise. So now because this is an original mouthpiece, I'm not going to play much because it's made of pewter. Pewter usually contained a little lead, and that's kind of bad. But I'll give one real quick peep here so you can hear what it sounds like. Works the same. So pretty cool. Also, there's some books that were popular during the period. So here's one. This is a very popular one here, Howells. And these books, they talk about how to play the instrument. They also give a lot of the music that you need to know, so popular tunes, and also the calls and duties, which I'll go over in a moment. Here's one from Chicago. I'll actually play 2 right from this book in a moment. And here's another one here from New York. So I mentioned reveille a moment ago. If I return to the fife I started with, reveille, you might be familiar with the bugle call. You may or may not have heard that once before, but the fife sounds a little different, and this is what the fife sounds. Now, normally the call is about 8 to 10 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll just play a very short section just so you get an idea. Now, that does go on a little bit longer, but that you get the idea just from that. Now that particular version goes all the way back to the colonial period. So fifers and drummers and the soldiers as well during the colonial period, during the Revolutionary War, would have heard that almost exactly the same. And so pretty neat how some traditions still carry on even up through the Civil War. Another one I'm going to play, so Reveille was probably one of the most hated calls by the soldiers because, you got to wake up. But let me play one of the most beloved ones. It's Breakfast Call. So another thing about fifing, as Lee pointed out in his video, fife and drum was also used for entertainment and for marching, for keeping a cadence while you're marching. And so both for marching and for entertainment, you might play some tunes that are popular of the day. I have actually been told from a first-hand account from soldiers that were marched behind me at Fort Warren that when we were playing, it really took their mind off of their feet and knees, and they forgot kind of that they were marching. They were just kind of humming along to the tune, and sometimes I've been to places where the soldiers even start singing along to the tune. And the next thing you know is you've marched a half mile and you didn't even realize it. So it's a way of keeping the infantry up with high morale and keep their spirits up. And so let me demonstrate one of those tunes for you real quick. And here's one more for you. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully Lee and I will see you out at Fort Warren, George's Island, in Boston Harbor this summer, and take care of yourselves.